how to design cinematic impacts. Basically, cinematic impacts are just random Foley sounds with a ton of reverb on them. For the bass, grab something like a plastic barrel, a door hit, maybe a dumpster hit, car door, any other sample as long as it's something low pitched. And if it's not, you can always just pitch it down yourself. I'm gonna be using this plastic barrel hit. So go ahead and put a reverb right on it to make it ambient and just blend it to taste. I'm going for an ambient low key kind of impact that's going to be blended in with a bunch of other synths. So I'm gonna be using a generous amount. Next, you wanna pick another Foley sound. I'm going with the glass shatter, but you can choose whatever. Metallic items work really well, like wrenches being dropped, chains, thuds, ceramic breaks, and debris are all great choices. Now, if you want to get even more fancy, you can automate a tape stop to make the pitch drop like this. If the sample has some kind of pitch, you can always tune it to the key of your production. This kind of depends on what sample you use. The barrel hit, for example, we can tune. Next, I'm gonna add a ceramic tile being busted. Once again, we're gonna put a ton of reverb on it and dial it to taste. Now I want to make something that leads into the impact, so I'm going to add a quick whoosh sound. White noise works really well for this. I'm going to be using this compressed air sample. So it's quite harsh, so I'm going to go ahead and de-ess it, and once again add a ton of reverb and blend it to taste. I'm going to add another layer, and I found the sample of this goose hissing, and it surprisingly worked really well. Cool so far, but those two are a bit similar. Sticking with the glass theme, I'm going to add the sample of a piece of glass being picked up and blend it in. So once I got all my layers, I'm going to send them all to the submix. That way I can bus process all the different layers. So I'm just going to saturate it a little bit and add a bus compression, that way it's all glued together. I'm also adding just a tiny bit more reverb, but in parallel. So finally, we're going to bounce it out and save it in your samples folder. So you don't have to do that all over again, and you can already have the sound ready to go for future production. So that's pretty much it. You can go crazy with the sample layers and add like 8 or 14 different Foley hits, but the bare minimum I think personally is 3. One sample for the low end bass, one for the mids, and one for the top end grain to fill out the frequency spectrum. Just be careful when you're dialing in reverbs because it's really easy to overdo, and it's just going to sound very muddy. Thanks for watching, and follow for more sound design tutorials.